Bob, you going to hit the first question?
I wasn't really thinking about it, but I'll certainly figure something out.
Okay.
What kind of problems most does Baylor present to you?
Well, they're simple, but at the same time unique. Where they're going to do what they do. And you know what the what the play sets are going to be, and the blocking schemes, and it's pretty. That's the way they've been since Coach Grimes, the offense coordinator, got there. And a credit to them is when somebody lines up and you see that type of offense, they're very confident in what they do. They're very good at what they do. The issues they present you is how it's going to change how they present it, and so you have to be ready to adjust to that. Whether it's motion, shift, formation, whatever it may be, the play set is going to be the same. The look is going to be different.
Consider them a power team or more of an F team?
Honestly, I think it's probably in between. With what they with the outside zone and stretch. They pride themselves on being physical, particularly at the line of scrimmage. A lot of times when you see that set of plays, it's maybe not necessarily with a physical team, but Baylor is. So it's a little bit of both, if that answers your question.
How would you compare and contrast Shapen with Bohannon last year?
It's Bohannon give them the ability to have a little more quarterback run game. I think Shapen is he's got a big arm, real live arm, can make all the throws on the field. Is really good at managing the offense, getting them into run and pass plays that they feel are favorable for them. That's evident on film. So I think that's the skill sets are different. I thought Bohannon was a really good quarterback. I think Shapen is a really good quarterback. I don't think there's much really difference. Just kind of the style of quarterback that each of them are.
Based on what I've read from them studying them, the idea was they wanted more of a downfield passing game with Shapen. Are you seeing that from what they've shown so far?
Yeah, I mean they take their fair share of shots, whether it's go balls, post balls, the deep over concepts. They take their fair share. I thought Bohannon took his fair share too. So. And had a big arm, had a live arm as well. So it's there's a little bit of a difference, but don't let Shapen fool you. He can run. Yeah.
Coach, John actually just asked Neil about Baylor's propensity to go for it on fourth down a lot more than most teams. How does that change your game plan?
Well, I mean you can look at it a couple of ways. You're playing 2 first downs. You're playing or 2 second downs, however you want to look at whatever third down is, where the ball is at the point in the game. It just depends on how you look at it, whether it changes your play call or not. You just got to be aware that that's their philosophy, and that's what they're going to do. So every situation is different. Every point that you just don't know till you get to the game with how you'll play that. You can get some things in your head with what you want to call and where based on field position, based on personnel. But until you know exactly what the down and distance is, maybe it's could be a hash thing. You don't know. So right now, the simple answer is no. It doesn't change how we approach it.
Okay, but does it have a chance to maybe change your game plan and cause you to do more adjustments on the fly than normal?
Yeah.
And maybe get you in your mindset of trying to predict
yeah.
whether they're going to go for it in certain situations because of the scoreboard or whatever?
Right. Oklahoma State, they're down by 8, 4th and 1 on their own 11. They go for it. So.
Video football.
Yeah, but they get it. So and they'll play the odds and play the percentages like a lot of people that are now going by that. The analytics, I think, is what they call it. So that's not traditional, but hey, You know, it works out, and that was with I think 11:30 to go in the fourth. So there's not, you know, there's no reason to take that chance, but you know they do, and so, you know, the way I see it is every series, you know, in the back of your head, there's a possibility to play 4 downs, and if you got to play it, then you have, you know, if you got to adjust to something that they're doing specifically for that, which they really don't do, so just got to be ready to play the extra down.
So you have to prepare your guys for possibly playing more snaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Coach, can you talk about the differences, if there are any, in terms of scheming red zone defenses as opposed to, you know, midfield, back on the other end? Are there different X's and O's when it comes to?
I mean, you know, again, I think it depends on what you're getting. Are the play sets, the formations, are they different down there? If they're not, then you're really not. You know, you're just gonna react to what they give you. You know, from what you've seen on film. You know, the short answer is yes and no. Just depending, you don't know to that opponent. Obviously, the goal line is extremely different. Short yardage goal line is that. Yeah, I think everybody is going to play that a little bit different. But you know, the 20-yard line to the whatever yard line, you're not. You know, it's a game plan. You know, deal. There's. You know, we have some red zone coverages, and we have some coverages that play the same on the negative 20 that they do on the positive 10. Just you have to know. You know, players they just have to adjust the alignments based on where it is. So there's some that do, there's some that don't, and so it's just a game by game.
Kind of just looking at the numbers, teams haven't really gotten into the red zone too much against you guys. So I mean, obviously that's a plus. When they have, they score a touchdown. So it's kind of like a give and take kind of thing. Just kind of how have you graded out your guys' red zone performance?
Well, I mean, like you said, a lot of the scores have come off big plays, and some of those are an offensive guys making good plays. The majority of them are on us. You know, they're mistakes by us. You know, to go back to a couple examples. You know, third down, getting them to a field goal situation is where we haven't been very good. And I think most anybody in that situation wants to maybe pressure a little bit and tighten things up. And we haven't been very good at that. And so when we have, we've been away from it by, you know, that much. And so that's something that we've got to improve. That's probably the biggest area we have to improve moving forward for the rest of the season is right where you're talking about.
There are two big explosive playmakers, Baldwin and Reese. Not real big guys. What do you see from them? What makes them so good?
Speed. You know, I think there was a big social media deal about the Baldwin kid running 20. I think it's 22.8. You know, and I don't know what that is in a 40. It's real fast. It's fast enough.
And he's 220 means he can take it the distance.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that sticks out the most is speed. And most everybody in our conference has that kind of speed.
Challenges of forcing turnovers. You talked about the need to do it more. Have you seen anything of late? Obviously, you had a chance at the interception with Auburn's play in Texas, but how do you go about creating some more?
Well, there's two things. You know, you just have to keep putting it as a focal point of your message throughout the week, and it always has been, and it's always going to continue to be, whether you're creating 4 or 5 a game or you're creating none. And that's the other part. You just have to continue to stress it. The other part is we got to make plays on a ball in the air. We've had so many opportunities. You know, you take the one last Saturday is, you know, catch the ball, and there you go. We got to make those, and those opportunities present themselves against good opponents. You can't let them go, and so we just it's simple things.
They're one of the teams that, I mean, a lot of teams do this. They put the 3 receivers on the short side of the field, that formation sideline, right?
Mm-hmm.
That seems kind of like the opposite of what you want to do, because you're content in that space with a whole bunch of defenders. But that does seem popular. I guess what are the advantages for offenses, disadvantages, or challenges for defenses when you're putting one guy on the other side? I get that, but you're kind of creating a small space on the left side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all you're really doing is manipulating the numbers and the angles, and so that's one of the first things that I tell any guy that comes and plays for us is, hey, this game's as simple as numbers and angles. That's what it is, and so you get the numbers into the short side of the field. Obviously, people probably adjust. Well, if you're adjusting numbers there, then you're probably going a different, have a difference in the numbers elsewhere. So is that matchup favorable? You don't know. It depends on where the pieces are and where they set them. But where it looks like that there's not an advantage for going into the short side of the field, obviously you see it across college football, and they make you adjust to it. If not, it's pretty easy. If you don't adjust to it, they have some really good angles on your defense. So you better do. You have to do something. So it's not that hard, even though the grass is shorter, when you have angles to create a little bit of grass, particularly in the run game, even in the screen game. And then they, just like anything else, they get you up in there, and then here comes a vertical passing game. They got us with that off of motion last year. Same concept. You can get to it by alignment, you can get to it by shift, you can get to it by motion. A lot of different ways to get to it. You just got to adjust, but you got to adjust smartly and make sure that your numbers are favorable before you need them.
A lot of unbalance from him.
No, not as much as we've seen. Not near as much as we've seen. I expect to see a little more of it.
Okay, anything else for Coach? All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.